Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Gospel Rescue Mission podcast. I'm your host, Monica Conley, and I'm here with Cynthia Speidel, who is preparing to move out really well. And we're just going to talk a little bit about her life, her experience here, and where she's going. So thank you for tuning in, and let's do this. All right. So you checked in. Let's see if I can remember. I was looking in your chart today. You checked in on October 3rd of 2022.
Yes.
Tell me about that day and what led up to it.
Well, my son and I had an apartment out in the Redwood area, and it was owned by a private guy, and then he sold it to a developer. The developer had property management come in and take it over, and at the end of the day, they started raising our rent, and things were just hard. And to be honest with you, I didn't hold a job. I couldn't hold a job because I was in my addiction. I had jobs. Employers thought I was doing great, but because I was in my addiction, I just wanted to get home, wanted to be home, and do my thing.
Yeah.
And so finances were not right and all of that. And so we weren't going to be able to keep it up, though, because they raised the rent so much, too. When I think that in the neighborhood was not a healthy neighborhood for my son. I mean, granted, he's a grown man, but I looked at a lot of different things. And I had been here at the mission before, and I knew it was what we needed. Yeah, I knew it was what I needed. I had gone through, it's been 2 years ago at this time, I was in medical detox from alcoholism. It was bad. And my son was out at a friend's house in Hugo, and I was just sick with the drinking. And I went to the hospital, and at the end of the day, they admitted me. My blood pressure was ridiculous. I was swollen. And then the doctor came in and said, "Your liver is not happy." And I knew what I had to do. And so did that. Excuse me. And so with all of these things happening, I said, we've got to go back. We've got to go to the mission. I can't keep this up anymore. I'm trying to get sober, stay sober, or at least give my body a break from alcohol, something.
Yeah.
And being here, I know I'm not going to do that. And my son needed to be around good, strong men of God. He's a good kid. He's an adult. He's a great guy. He's a great man of God now. But he needed to be around strong, godly men. And it was just God was pointing us in that direction. I just had to get the push, and boy, did he give it to me.
Well, and as much as he needed good, strong, godly men, you needed good, strong, godly women.
I so needed this. I needed this. I've often referred to it as a reset on my life. I needed a reset on my life. My life needed a reset, and I've certainly gotten it since I've been here. I look at pictures of my life 2 years ago, and I look at it now, and I think, wow, that's the same person, or two different people.
Yeah. So it's like looking back and thinking, gosh, was that really me?
Oh, my behavior. Oh gosh, everything. Yeah. Everything it was scary.
Yeah. I remember when you came in, and with looking back at your file today, I was looking at your picture, and I thought, man, the woman that walked through that front door is absolutely not the woman that is before me today. You have grown so much. And I think that you have grown so much, and that is a testament to the effort that you have put into your life. You've taken feedback from me. You have taken Nearly every suggestion. Nearly every suggestion. But you've had pretty good rebuttals to the ones that you didn't take. And, you know, we were able to collaborate on some things that really worked out better for you even than, you know, what I had initially wanted. But, you know, I think it's been, I mean,
it's been an amazing, I don't want to say adventure, but it's been, I feel like I know I've grown, and I can make decisions now, and I think about things before I do them. And I think, you know, what is the long-term effect of my life going to be? What is the ripple effect of this going to be? And I make clear decisions with a clear mind.
Yeah.
I make decisions with a clear mind, and I think about things. And one thing that you've always said is to trust your gut. And if something doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have really learned to think about things instead of just jumping in on it, and and not just reacting, but really thinking about before I make a decision about something. Because the effects can be lasting, and there can and will be ripple effects.
Yeah, so take your time.
Exactly.
Take your time.
Exactly.
You don't have to jump right into something. You can take your time.
No, yes.
So...
yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I can't express enough just everything that this program, you know, Pathway to Independence, and that's exactly what it is. Because people come in here, I know I came in here, just using myself as an example, I came in here and I was so dependent on, you know, chemical dependency. And then I was dependent on people, constantly dependent on people. And yes, there is, to a degree, a certain level of dependency still on people today for my income or for my apartment.
Well, yeah.
That kind of thing. But I am also independent in the tools that I've gained in helping me make wise decisions and thinking about things. And, you know, it's a tough program. I mean, I have folks that I work with that are very familiar with the program, and some of them, they've said, you know, we know about it, and it's hard, and it is. But I also think about what life was like before, and that was tough. Life when you're doing unhealthy things, making unhealthy decisions, making decisions that can negatively affect people. You lose relationships, friendships.
Would you say that the life that you were living prior to being here was harder than what it has been for you to do the program?
Yeah. Oh, by far. I mean, I was at one time, and I've shared this, a park person. I was sleeping in, I had a full-size Chevy Tahoe that I was sleeping in with a loaded gun under my pillow because I was feeding my addiction.
And you were afraid?
I was, yeah. I mean, I could hear people, you know, late at night. I mean, I'd get woke up by cars racing by or people standing outside my vehicle laughing or whatever. And I was, you know, so at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting up and I'm going someplace else. That's a tough life. Not knowing where you're going to shower, not knowing how you're going to do your laundry, going to, you know, and I had a job. I mean, going to work sometimes thinking, oh my God, my clothes are dirty, I'm dirty. That's a tough life. That's tough. So the program is, like I said, it's tough, but it's a good.
So what you're talking about when you were down in the park, and you're talking about, you know, that was a difficult life,
right?
You know, it was, but it was scary, and and I'm getting the sense that you were thinking that something needed to change. So what was it initially that prevented you from coming here, and then what was it that led you here?
My addiction.
Okay.
My addiction. I was so set in that. I mean, it's, you know, to think that something controlled me that much. It controlled me almost as much, if not more, than my second husband, who was extremely abusive and controlling. I mean, that's the hold that alcohol had on me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to give it up. But then when you're told by a doctor in an emergency room, this is happening to you, and you've lost other family members to addiction, it's kind of a wake-up.
Yeah, makes you change your mind.
Oh, quick.
Yeah.
So there's that. But, you know, it's yeah, I think about the day I walked in and I was scared, and I was, it was different. I could feel it different from when I'd been here before, but it was good different in the long run. You know, and I still remember I was in the computer lab doing the online portion of it, and here comes you and Brian, and I look over and all I see is this girl, this ponytail. I thought, oh my God, yes. I was like, okay, I know him, but who's that? She's cute, okay.
Little did you know.
and just your bubbly, outgoing, the smile and just everything. And I was like, okay. And I can remember being in tears, and you said, whatever it is, we'll get through it. And we did. And there have been a lot of tears. There's been a lot of
we'll get through it.
Yes, there has been so much of we'll get through it. The frustrations, you know, when of just, you know, when I was trying to find jobs and just different things personally, and
having your son next door.
Oh my gosh.
All the times that he wanted to leave.
Yeah, and you know, that was one thing. If it wasn't, you know, I'd come crying to you, and then you'd go over and talk to the men's coordinator, or you'd talk to Brian, and they'd be going and talking to my son and talk him off the ledge, and yeah, I know this is about me, but I think about the kid that walked in that building and the man that walked out.
And I think about the broken woman who walked in my front door, who was so dependent on what other people thought of her.
Oh.
That every decision that she made was around making sure that everyone else was comfortable, instead of knowing how to utilize her own voice, how to set boundaries, how to be professional, how to carry herself with confidence. I think about that woman, and I look at the woman sitting in front of me right now, and I think, this is a woman of good character, of integrity, that is a professional in the community, who cares about the women and the people that she serves at work, in addition to her colleagues. And I am immensely, monumentally proud of you.
Thank you. It's so worth it, though. It's so worth it. All of the hard work, and it's hard work, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it when you can look and you can see the things that you've overcome. It's so worth it, you know, to have that independence and know you're not dependent on somebody else anymore, that you can make that rent payment by yourself. You can make that light bill. I bought that car.
Yes, you did.
And I did it. So, yeah.
And you saved for it, and you worked hard for it, and you did the next step. You didn't try to jump. You didn't try to hurdle over them to get to the next one by skipping one in between. You followed every single step, and you did it well. You did, and that's not to say that you didn't stumble a couple of times. Everybody does, right? But the point is you got yourself back up. You didn't let yourself stay down. You got yourself back up, and you kept moving forward, and look at you. You're on the heels so quickly after your son moved out. It was like bam, bam, bam.
You know,
all of these things.
Well, and I thought about something the other day too, after they got the phone call about the apartment, and I thought my goal was mid-July, actually.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, I'm doing this like almost a month and a half early. Okay. And, You know, though, and you talk about the steps, and those are so important, because if you try to leapfrog, it's you just, if a person follows the steps and is willing to follow the steps and listen to the folks that have gone before them and have kind of paved the pathway, if you will, you're going to get a lot further than if you try to navigate it on your own, because you're talking. What is being given to you, what is being given to a resident, is that the person, for instance, yourself, and you're sharing your experiences with us, as far as taking the next step, and doing it the right way, I guess,
and not trying to rush it.
Exactly.
Right? And I think that's something that was kind of a spot that you had found yourself in a little bit too, and it's something that I see with a lot of residents. They'll come in and they'll be like, I'm not going to be here for very long. And the plan is, usually most people only plan to be here for 6 months. And we can make a lot of progress in 6 months, and I've had women that have been here and they've done really well and they've left really well in 6 months. But that's not the case for most people.
No.
It takes a little longer, right? So we're working on getting you out of debt. We've got to get you, sometimes we've got to start with just getting vital records. And that in and of itself can be a challenge, right? And so we can't get a job until we get the vital records. And sometimes we don't have employability skills. So we need to get some of those skills first, right? And so
Well, I laugh because when I came in here, not only was I felt like a scared, shaking cat. I probably looked like one. But I didn't know, I barely knew how to turn on a computer, much less do anything with it. And the skills that have been poured into me, the communication, the computer, life skills, it's like I have this toolbox now.
Well, and you became an RA.
Yeah.
You became an RA, so you really learned a lot. So as a work site where you were assigned, you learned how to do answering phone calls, how to issue receipts for donations and in-kind receipts, and how to hold people accountable to the tasks that they were assigned, and how to do the daily roster and the stat sheet and do intakes and how to do discharges. And you really learned how to manage an office, right? And that's it may not be quite exactly what you're doing, but everything that you learned in that absolutely prepared you for
where I am today.
Where you are today.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, and I love because I did get all of those skills that was brought up today at work. Actually, was something going on in there, like the documentation that I have to do, being as I work with the senior community, and they're, I said, well, because I said if it's not written down, it didn't happen, and I said, do you have any idea how many times I've heard that in the last? I said, that's why it's all right here. Yes. You keep records, you write it down because you don't know if you're going to need it.
Yes. Yeah.
But it served me well in having that, because it is important in having an employment, having your rent receipts, anything like that, your car records, anything like that. It's good to have all of those things.
Yeah.
All that,
Yep.
So
when you think about when you first got here, aside from your addiction keeping you from here, and then making that decision to come in, once you were here, what would you say was the hardest part for you?
The hardest part for me, boy, getting up in the morning, getting the early. I cannot lie. I'm one of those people, when I get up in the morning, I'm just not nice. I want to have my coffee. I want to have peace and quiet. Let me wake up. Let me do it on my terms. No. And so it was getting up early and being in a community setting as soon as you open your eyes.
So basically what you're saying is, when I made you an opening RA, You were really happy with me.
I was just thrilled. Well, see, but I would come down early and have my coffee and everything, and be down there a good almost half hour before everybody else. So I got the caffeine flowing through me, so that yeah. So I could be nice.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you did that.
Yes, yeah, no,
and I'm sure the residents were glad that you did too.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is, though, is once I get up and get moving, it's like, okay, because if I was waiting until, then you're just waiting all day. And so getting up and getting the house moving and everything wasn't so bad once that third cup of coffee hit.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would you say challenged your growth the most?
What challenged my growth the most? My age.
Okay, in what way?
Because I figured by the time I see women around me in my age group, and I guess, I know that there are other women my age that struggle, have addiction issues, things like that. Unfortunately, I've seen it, here. Yeah. But the way I grew up is, you have the house, you have the car, you have the job. And by the time women my age and my family and the women that I was around growing up got to be my age, they were getting ready to retire. You weren't. And so I was really down about that. And I guess that challenged me the most because I don't know if you want to call it a pity pot, but I was definitely down on myself and felt, I was like, I shouldn't be at this place in my life.
Like you should be further in life than what you were.
I felt like I should be much further in life. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. But
how did you overcome that?
Being in a community setting and seeing that I wasn't alone. And it's really funny because, some of the things that I disliked the most helped me the most.
Like
being in a community setting, like having to get up in the morning, like seeing other women my age that were struggling with some of the same things I was, and how I do struggle with, because life is far from perfect.
Yeah.
I still have struggles, but seeing that I wasn't alone in the support and getting, being around people again. Even though I was, had my own place, didn't mean I was real sociable.
Right.
Because I wasn't.
Yeah.
But
when you're in your addiction, you're oftentimes hiding or trying to hide.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're trying to put on the front that you've got everything together and nothing's falling apart until it does.
Oh,
right?
And then when yeah. So, but I would say that was probably what challenged me the most was that I felt like I should be further in life than I am. And it's where I work, they're really just so unbelievably supportive of me. Unbelievably. My immediate supervisor and our business office manager and a few other people are about my same age. And then a couple of other people I work with that are in management positions are like young enough to be my kids. And we joke about that. You're young enough to be my daughter, for heaven's sake. I just walk out of her office. But it's good. It's definitely good.
If there's so much more that we could talk about.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more that we could go into. But we don't have all of that many hours to just record anything. So, I guess what I'd like to know is, it's the same thing that I ask everybody. If there was someone listening
mm-hmm.
that is thinking about coming, but they're hesitant to come,
mm-hmm.
what would you say to them?
I would ask, the first 30 days are hard. being in 30-day dorm, acclimating to the schedule, acclimating to the routine, acclimating to the rules. It sounds like so much. But if you just give it that first 30 days, then you're used to the schedule. You're used to the routine. And every day gets easier. Like I said, it's a tough program, but every day it gets easier.
It feels more like life.
It feels, yeah, because life, I mean, in life and society, adulting, you've got that routine, that you get up, you go to that job, you buy those groceries, you do that laundry, you clean that house, you do all of those things. So I would say, give yourself, do it for yourself, because whatever, like I've said, it might be hard, but what you're doing is harder. Sleeping outside, being cold, being wet, being dirty, being hungry, all that stuff is a lot harder. And you've got people here, everybody that works here. It's just the love and care and compassion that oozes from this place, these two buildings, it's life-saving and life-changing, because so many staff, not so many staff, please let me correct that, but there are staff here that have been through what the residents here are walking through. And they care so much because they don't want to see somebody else go through it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the volunteers that come in and pour into us, we've got this husband and wife that come in on Monday nights, and they're just amazing, and they're transparent, and they're real, and they share that they go through struggles, and the staff share that they go through struggles. And because then it helps us realize, at least it's helped me realize, that, okay, these folks have got it together. They've got jobs, they've got cars, they've got homes, they've got all those things. They still struggle with something.
We're still human.
Exactly. But, if you haven't felt love and care and compassion in a while, it feels like an act. But let yourself feel it, because it gets easier, and then it becomes part of your day, and it becomes part of your life and part of your routine. And while I'm very, very excited to be moving on to the next step of my life and coming back and helping any way I can, it's going to be scary. It's going to be hard.
It's going to be new.
It's going to be so many different things. But it's...
Oh, don't cry. You're going to make me cry.
But it's... But they're happy tears.
I know. Every time I've needed to talk or needed anything, you could read my looks across a room. And it's going to be good. It's going to be different. But I would just encourage any woman out there, or man, to do yourself the favor of giving yourself a chance at a better life. Because you deserve it. We all do. And you can do it.
You can do it, and you will get every tool imaginable to do it. The things I've learned here today, I was just complimented by somebody because, like I said, I got the tools and I can do it. And I've got the tools and I can do it. I've learned how to budget, which I never knew. Oh, God. Budgeting, what is that?
That was your favorite part of your 30-day reviews.
I think I put it off for a couple of months. And then I begrudgingly put it in your box. But you know, it's funny because now I'm like writing things down, figuring things out for money, and I think, oh wait, my car insurance is coming out. Oh, I've got, never mind.
But you know, the thing that I find the most amazing about budgeting, and I don't know if you find it to be the same thing, when I do my budget and when I pay all my bills, even if I only have $20 left or $30 left, I can look at my sheet at all of the spots where I wrote paid.
Yeah.
Paid.
Yeah.
Everything is paid.
Exactly.
And it feels so good. I can open my fridge and there's food in there.
Exactly.
I can drive down the road and not worry about getting pulled over because my insurance is lapsed.
Exactly. That's
it's so nice.
Yeah. You know, that goes back to the adulting, and that's something that, I mean, I'm driving legally for the first time since 2009.
Congratulations.
And insurance, that didn't exist at one time, you know? So, yeah. So, just
you're doing all the things.
I am.
All of the things.
I'm doing
living life on life's terms, following the rules, being the rules of society, not just the rules of the program, right?
Yeah.
Because the rules of the program are designed to mimic the rules that everybody else follows in life. We just do them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you are now a productive, contributing member of this community that you live in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. And it feels good, you know? It feels good to be doing things and to be doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? When you leave here, when you move out, when you're into your own place.
Well, I'm just going to stay obviously connected to the mission here. I would put my volunteer application in.
I saw it.
Staying connected to my church. I have made so many friends, and it's family. It's, you know, and it's extension of I volunteer at my church. I greet in the morning, and I love it. I love it because you're getting to know more people, and it just creates more support, you know, and just having friends that are doing life with you,
right?
And I don't know. Just continuing my job. I will be cross-trained in some different things where I am. I do activities now. I've been in the medical field, been in the geriatric field for years and years. And I work in memory care and absolutely love it. I love it when my residents see me and they smile and they light up. It's so cool. So I'm going to be cross-trained in some things, and we're moving into some different position there in the next month. And just continuing to do the next right thing. Just continuing to do the next right thing, and, you know, make sure that I maintain a support group and check in. That's a big thing that I say. You know, I tell people, make sure you've got support. Make sure you've got people you can talk to, you know, and plug in to positive support. Make sure that you've got positive support.
Yeah.
People that are going to encourage you when you're feeling or help pick you up and dust you off if something happens, you know.
Tell you the hard things.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell you the hard things that maybe you don't want to hear.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely, because sometimes you got to hear those things. I know I've had to hear them. But I know I'm ready. No, you're not. And I wasn't. And that's okay.
Because you are now.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. My apartment is in a nice, more secluded area. It's beautiful though. It's the grounds are amazing, and the lawn, and I've got river access. I can stand in my parking lot and see the river. I'm like, yes. And it's quiet and all kinds of trees around me. So now my son who lives in town here says, I'm going out to my mom's. He's truly going out to his mom's.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
yes.
awesome.
Yes.
That's so good.
Yes.
I am so, so proud of you. I'm proud of everything that you've done here, and I'm really proud to call you my friend. So
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for being on this podcast and allowing me to interview you and share you with everybody, because you have been an absolute pleasure to work with, and it has been my honor to be able to help you through the things that I've gotten to help you through. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the Lord for bringing you here and for bringing you through all of the things that He's brought you through.
I know now, deep in my heart, that it was God that has brought me through so much. My relationship with the Lord has strengthened it so much, and I found myself on so many occasions when I've started getting frustrated about a job or a car or finding a place to live or this or this or this, and okay, what do you want me to do? And it's like he turns me around and he points at something. Okay. But it has strengthened my relationship with the Lord so much. And I'm so past thankful for you personally. I mean, we've been able to talk and to share and to cry together and to laugh, and I look back at all of it and it's, like, wow, it's time now for me to move on, which is crazy, but I work 5 minutes from here. If you don't think I might live 15 minutes from here, but I only work 5 minutes from here. But I am so thankful to you and to this program for saving my life, in a sense. Yeah.
Thank you for letting us help you. Well,
yes.
Is there anything else that any question that I didn't ask that led to something that you wanted to say? Is there anything else that you would like to say?
No, I guess I just can't, and I could say it 1,000 times, and I have, and I will say it to anybody that I see that's out there that is struggling, and I pray a lot. It's the blue building on at the end of G Street, and they're there to help you. And let them. Give yourself that and let them at least try it. At least be willing to try it. And I will forever and ever be thankful to Grants Pass Gospel Rescue Mission.
You will always be a part of us. Always and forever. And
Thank
we're
you.
immortalizing you in that right now. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to another Gospel Rescue Mission podcast. And I want to thank you again, Cindy, for joining me on this and sharing a little bit of yourself and your experience with everybody. If you liked what you saw, please consider going to our website, grantspassmission.org, and learning more about us, or subscribing to us on YouTube. We'd love to make sure you get all of the new information and
Yes.
resident stories and all of that stuff as quickly as we can. So thank you again and have a wonderful evening.